Ladies and gentlemen, he's the samurai of student ministry, the networking ninja, a Jedi master of church budgets, the beast from the southeast, the next-gen nerd himself, CJ!
What's up, nerds? Welcome back to the Next Gen Nerd Podcast, the show where it's a trap. Here today talking about one of my favorite topics, Star Wars. I think I probably could talk about Star Wars every episode for the next 60 episodes and not get tired of it, but I won't do that to you. I promise. This will not be a Star Wars podcast, but if you want to talk about Star Wars, let me know. Come on the show. We'll talk about Star Wars. Today, I'm talking with Kate Kadowaki, looking at Star Wars, but really talking about its genre as a space western. It's kind of what we talk about in this episode. Thoroughly enjoyed talking about it. Kate Kadowaki is one of the founders of Love Thy Nerd, one of the co-hosts of the Free Play podcast. Just a wonderful human being. Wonderful human being. You'll enjoy the show. She's very excited about Star Wars. Recently took a deep dive into it. And so we're going to talk about that in just a little bit on the show. Before we jump into that, though, instead of doing a recommendation, I thought I would show off some of my stuff because I got a lot of Star Wars stuff. And so I have a few things I want to highlight from my collection back here. There's more than this, but this is what I'll talk about. First, I'm going to show off this right here. So this is a very hefty, very heavy Mandalorian bust. This my brother Sean made for me for my birthday a couple of years ago, and I love this thing. The texture on it, the paint job on it, it's nice and heavy. He filled it with resin, so like I could kill somebody with this if I needed to, but I love this thing. Love this thing. And it's right in front of my Darth Vader plush. And then I've got a whole bunch of Funkos. I'm going to talk about two of them. One is this one here that my brother Logan got me. It's a bobblehead Din Djarin where he's rescuing Grogu. Yeah, I love this thing. The clear base on it. I had to do a little reconstructive surgery to the back. That's what happens when you play with these things. But yeah, love this one. And then speaking of Funko Pops, you probably see him in just about every show. My life-size Grogu, right back here from my sister Gingerly. They know that I like Star Wars stuff, and so love this. It's also a bobblehead, but he is kind of stuck in there, so he doesn't move a whole lot. But I've got a lot of Star Wars treasures, a lot of Funko Pops up here. I've got some Star Wars ones still in the box that I just wanted to leave in the box, and yeah, I do love Star Wars, and our sign today, flashback order. If you're looking for a new order to watch Star Wars in, if you haven't done the flashback order, it's watching 4 and 5, pretending that 1, 2, and 3 is a flashback, and then finishing up with episode 6. And then I guess you could add the Disney ones on the back end of that. But anyways, I'm probably boring you with Star Wars stuff, which is really not a good sign, considering that's our topic for the day. So make sure you guys are ready to listen in on that. If you have Star Wars treasures of your own that you'd like to share, let me know. Send me an email at nextgennerdpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tag nextgen_nerd on Instagram. Would love to see the Star Wars treasures that you've amassed. It's just funny. I'm looking around in this room, and I'm seeing other Star Wars stuff. I've got a schematic of the Millennium Falcon. I've got a little Yoda sitting on my monitor over here watching me. I love Star Wars. I really do. It is my jam, and we'll talk about that some more in the show. But I think that's it for the pre-show, so let's go ahead and jump in the interview. Let's get nerdy. Well, like I said at the start of the show, I am here with Kate Kadowaki of Love Thy Nerd and the Free Play podcast, and we were talking just before recording. I got to meet in person Kate at LTN Con. She avoided me greatly.
I don't know, maybe... Yeah, let's go with that. I'll go along with that.
Listen, you're a little more petite, and there were a lot of very large men at this conference, so I can understand, like that's a big guy. I'm thinking Brian. I'm thinking Oral Jedi Brian. Like he's a big dude. He's a big dude, and Brother Mod's a big dude. So, but no.
MDB. MDB's a big dude.
Yes,
you gotta be careful of that one, MDB.
Yes. Speaking of MDB, he lives in Chattanooga. I was there for a conference. I said, "Hey man, let's get lunch," and it was a good time. He picked me up. He paid for lunch.
Yeah. I was
gonna
say you don't have to lie, but if he paid for the lunch, then. All right.
It was good. I picked where we were going. I said I gave him a few options. I've been in Chattanooga.
Where did you pick?
So we went to Champy's. Champy's is a chicken joint that is in the worst section of Chattanooga. Like it is in, it's in the hood, so it's delicious. It's so good. It is a dive. But I love going there. The first time I went to Champy's, I was walking with I had bought souvenirs and I was just walking around there.
Of course.
And as I'm getting closer to this place, it's highly rated on Yelp. I'm passing bail bondsman, liquor store, barbershop. And I'm and the sun's setting, and I'm I'm dying. I'm dying tonight. This is it. But no, he came by, he picked me up, and he goes, "Oh, you're not paying for lunch in my town." And I'm I am not going to stop you. Next time you're in Florida, I'll buy lunch, I guess. There we go.
I am so impressed with him.
Listen,
normally, his behavior is questionable. It's really hard to just be around and listen to. But wow, he bought you your food.
He did. Listen, it's just a candy shell. He's got the sarcastic candy shell.
The candy shell.
That's it. He's a big softy. We talked about ministry and family and had a good lunch. But
brilliant.
Yeah. So, but we met. I edit the Free Play podcast, and so
yes, you do. That is a. Ooh, I wouldn't wish that task on anyone.
Listen,
I'll just say on behalf of the three of us, I am so sorry.
No. I love it. I really love how Matt on the last episode says, CJ, I don't know if you listen to this while you're editing it. I'm going, how do I edit a show if I'm not listening to it? I don't understand how that works, but...
You just skip through.
That's it. There have been a couple times where I was like, okay, levels look about right. Chop, and save, because I have no time for this. But
that's fine.
But no,
it's chaos and tomfoolery.
Oh, it's so good. But I'm glad to have you on the show. I wanted to have you on, and because you're diving deeper into Star Wars, which is probably one of my favorite fan universes. And so I thought it'd be good. But before we get into Star Wars and the topic today, what's something exciting going on in your personal life right now?
Exciting. I mean, I don't know if anything exciting is going on other than I've just have started a whole bunch of new hobbies of collecting things. So that.
What are you collecting? What's something new you're collecting?
Money's flying out the doors and the windows. I've started collecting old books. So I've been hitting up all the old, used, rare book people shops around the county.
Yeah.
I've been to 5 of them, and you might think what are you doing there? Are you going to read these books? Some of them are books that I've already read, and just to clear the air about what I said about the money flying out, 2 of them are gifts for other people.
Okay.
So it makes it a little bit better. But I've done a lot of research about what makes a good book collection, because that could be applied to pretty much any type of collection, what makes a good collection for you as a person. And these book people, there's this book man on TikTok, you should look him up, and he's called Moon's Rare Books. I'm obsessed with him. He is so cool. He's this little old man with these glasses, and he shows you all his Bible collection. He is just so cool.
Okay.
So I've been looking at stuff like him, these other YouTube videos, and they're what matters to you? If you just go out and say, I'm going to buy any book that is from the 1800s, that's too large of a scope for collections for most people.
Okay.
That'd be like saying, I'm going to buy every single Funko Pop that exists. Like Matt Coker.
Yeah. That's they put out 300 new ones a day. So to try and get all the Funko Pops, that's... Yeah. I think they make more Funko Pops a day than they do books, and that's saying something. Oh,
I'm sure. So with my book collection, I'm trying to narrow it down.
What's the crown jewel right now? You're like this right here. I'm so glad I got this.
The crown jewel is, it's called American Revolution 2, which I'm kind of bitter about because clearly that means I need part 1. But they only had part 2.
Okay.
It's from 1894.
Okay.
Some historian or whatever, I don't even know. This dude, his just overview of the entire American Revolution. And that is one of my favorite time periods of history, is the American Revolution.
Okay.
So I like a lot of 1700 stuff. I like a lot of 1800 stuff. Probably one reason why I love Red Dead Redemption 2 so much.
There you go.
So I'm trying to narrow my collection down, the book collection. So I have stuff like that I'm interested in, that time of history. I have another copy of another book that's from the 1940s of the Federalist Papers, which I read in college. And it's one of those, if you like that kind of founding father history stuff, you should have a copy of the Federalist Papers. I have a little, I don't know, not a pamphlet, whatever this is, a mini book type thing that's every single order that George Washington issued from 1773 to 1773 to 1783. There's the numbers. It's all there. Every issue, every notice, any communication that left his office is in there. And that pamphlet thing is from 1883.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. You know, I can
nerdy in a weird way. It's
no. You know as well as anybody else that nerdy is just you really enjoy, have a passion about something. I just re-listened to Jacqueline Parrish's keynotes from LTNCon last week.
Oh yeah.
And talking about how there's that there's that intrinsic enjoyment that you get just from participating in something, and then there's that enjoyment that you get from working on something, and Nerd Collection is both, like you enjoy having those things and you enjoy hunting it, and so that's why we can get obsessed about some of these things.
Oh yeah.
And I totally get the historic tie-in there with Red Dead Redemption, because my being in Florida, pirate culture, anytime you're on the beach, they talk about that. So Assassin's Creed Black Flag, that's one of the reasons why I love that game. It's because I was fascinated by the idea of pirates and whatever else, and it takes place right there near where I live. So,
absolutely. That was a very good game. That was a very good installment of Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
Very good one.
Yes, my favorite. That was my favorite. But no, very cool. In addition to Star Wars, in addition to space westerns, in addition to collecting books, what are some of your big, these are my nerd universes that I love to live in?
Well, am I allowed to say another thing that I'm collecting?
Yeah, I don't care. Go for it.
That's part of the nerd universe?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I just didn't if you were this interest too, collection heavy, then I would think of something else.
Oh my gosh, stop.
Lego.
Okay, yeah.
Lego, but again, focusing on what am I going to collect. I
heard you talking about your wish list. I heard about you making your wish list. If it's not on the wish list, it doesn't get bought.
I know. I'm trying really hard to stick with that. I haven't purchased any more Lego things, mostly because I don't have the space to display them unless I want to put them in direct sunlight, which I don't. Okay. That would be foolish to do that. Then they'd get all ruined, the bricks.
So when I was, when was this? This must have been middle school. Middle school, episode 1 came out. And I remember buying several pod racer kits, Lego pod racer kits. And then I attached a fishing line to them, and then attached them to my ceiling fan. And if I turned it on low, they would fly in circles. They would race around my room.
That's actually a brilliant idea.
Listen, that was not my mom's favorite thing that I did, but I loved it. If you turned it on high, they'd go flying off into the corners of the room. But if you left it on low, they would all just kind of
Then you'd be good. You'd be good if they were on low.
Yeah. So, but no, I get that. Listen, Lego's fantastic. I've got I think 2 or 3 Lego kits on my wish list. Yeah.
It's a slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope.
Collecting definitely can be.
Yeah, collecting anything, and then I've noticed too with the Lego stuff, it's man, this is so expensive. Yeah. But then as you're putting the kit together, it makes sense why it's expensive because it's so well done. The detail, it's down to the details of things you'll never see unless you break it open. The instruction booklets are so well done. Come on. You're paying for the quality, and the quality is high.
I was going to look to see if it's out, but if I open an internet page, everything's going to crash, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
but they were going to make the Office kit, where you would build the Office in Lego and have all the little miniatures, and I'm like, that I will sell one of my children for that. Let's do that. Let's go. Yeah, that'd be good. Well, very cool.
Oh.
Well, let's jump into let's go into Star Wars. We're talking space westerns. I say space westerns because you've got Firefly outside the Star Wars universe and Serenity. That's a space western. Mandalorian leans very heavily into the space western feel, and really the general epic, the desert scenes of the original Star Wars kind of push you that way as well. There's a lot of tie-ins there to westerns. I mentioned before we were recording that my nerdiest credit is in Star Wars. when I was in ninth grade through about 24, 25, I wrote for on a Star Wars role-playing message board where you would write your part for your character, and then others would write their parts, and you would write this collaborative fan fiction.
That so much.
So,
oh my god.
So I wrote probably at the pinnacle probably 20 characters, but really there was probably like 5 that I wrote a lot. Like these were the characters that I played a lot. But you know that when you spend time with rabid nerds, you have to get it right. So the amount of research I would have to put in before I would post anything, looking like, because you couldn't just say like I'm going to use this ship, and they're like, well, technically the crew for that's 4, and your team's only 2. Yeah, and so like you had to like research all of that, or if you're making a lightsaber that you wanted to be a little different than the other ones, like you had. So there's a lot of research that went into Star Wars. A lot of time.
I love that so much.
It was a good time. It was a good time. I would say my top 3 characters that I played. I had basically an Obi-Wan knockoff. That was basically one. But as a Christian, when I would write the Force, I would write it more of like a Holy Spirit character. Yes, and so his name was Tantor Aiden, and he was called the Disciple. And so whenever I write those things, there was a big spiritual bent to it. Annoyed some of the people a real bunch.
Of course.
But I had that one. I had basically a Han Solo type character, but more of a cyber hacker bent. Think Han Solo meets Ryan Reynolds. That was kind of the feel that he was. I wrote him a lot. Spent a lot of time there. And then I had a Wookiee pirate. Pirate. Yes, who. Was the Beastmaster, so he had like all these dogs he would set loose, and so I spent a lot of time researching Star Wars. We were talking about that before, and spent a lot of hours.
I love that. I love that, and it makes me think too. I was gonna bring this up to you, and I forgot until just now because you brought this up. My equivalent to that is I've been making these playlists about Star Wars.
Okay.
I have so many of them, but it's music is so subjective that it's more of like a personal project for me. Like, I have some based on the shows, some based on like, I have one of my ones for shows that I'm really proud of that I think is like my best work.
Right.
Would be for Andor, surprisingly.
Okay. Yeah.
I love that one. I also have a bunch of playlists that are character based, so it's like this is this person's playlist that they listen to in this, in this situation, or planet based. So this set of songs reminds me of Endor. This set of songs reminds me of Coruscant, and you're like in a speeder in the upper levels at night. This is the vibe that you kind of want. So I approach it from my like musical heart for all of these things. And ship radio. So for the different ships, like who's listening to what kind of music in their ship. The Mandalorian, Din Djarin, is way more open-minded when it comes to music compared to somebody like Boba Fett, who, you know, there's an age difference there. There's a lot of different things there. So, you know, Boba Fett's not going to stray too far from a certain set of music ideology.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like it. That's really cool.
It is so fun. So it's my equivalent of your incredible writing project.
So, while I'm thinking about this, if you haven't listened to Hector Mire's new episodes that he's putting out for the podcast network, LTN's podcast network, he has one where he talks to. Have you listened to him? Where he's talking about he's talking to a.
I haven't listened to the latest 2, I think.
The girl that does saber combat. That's what I was thinking of. He did one.
Yes.
That was so good.
That was so cool. She has the lightsaber school.
Yeah, that was good.
I wish I could go.
Oh, that'd be good. I did add a combat lightsaber to my wish list. There we go. Add that in there so I can beat children with it. I thought really too I could take it to school and teach and use that as my pointer with the lightsaber.
That would be good. That would be a unique teaching style.
Yes, yes. That'd be good. So you mentioned before we were recording that you've been spending a lot of time delving into Star Wars. Why do you really enjoy this space western idea, the Star Wars universe? Like, what about it attracted you in to go deep?
Well, I haven't even seen all of the Star Wars movies. I've seen the prequels, and I've seen the original 3, and I've seen the first of the sequels.
Okay.
And I've always liked Star Wars and thought, okay, that's fun. The universe is fun and cool, but I've never been into it the way I am right now.
Okay.
With it, and I think it was just the right time and place for me to hear those stories.
Okay.
And someone gave me a Disney Plus login that I didn't have before. So once I had that, I was like, what am I going to watch first? I'll watch The Mandalorian. I'm kind of familiar enough with Star Wars to probably get it. And it hooked me big time.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I thought, oh my gosh, there's so much Star Wars stuff out here right now that I have never seen, that I've never heard of. It really blew my mind how much stuff there is to digest of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So it got me, and it got me good. And I've just been ripping through stuff ever since. I've watched all The Mandalorian twice, all the way through. Book of Boba Fett twice, all the way through. I've watched all of the Clone Wars animated, all of the Rebels animated.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm really getting in it. But what really stood out to me with The Mandalorian that felt familiar to me when I was watching it was the fact that it felt like a space western. There's so many little things in there, and Tombstone is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, same.
And Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of my favorite video games. So there's a lot of stuff in there that felt familiar.
This is my Doc Holliday with a little tin cup. Yes, yeah.
I have him too down here. I have a Wyatt Earp. I have 2 Docs. That might be all that I have from that. But,
I love that movie.
But tying in my interest in history of that time period to my engaging in different types of nerdy things that are of that nature, and it just felt like, man, I'm coming home in the Star Wars universe right now. What else is there out there for me?
Nice, very nice.
So there's a lot of stuff in there.
So trying to get my kids hooked as well. There's a lot of Star Wars content. I mean, it has been feast for the last 15 years as far as how much stuff is coming out. Funny enough, Carrie, my wife, what brought her in, she had watched the other ones with me and just did not care, didn't like them, but she loved me, so she watched them with me. But she watched Rogue One, and Rogue One is a very different Star Wars movie. Very different. And
that destroyed me.
Oh, so she watched it and she goes, okay, let's start them again. And so we watched that one, and then we went 4, 5, 6. I still have it. I used to have a fan cut of the prequel trilogy that takes all 3 movies and cuts it down to 2.5 hours. And so I would watch that one because it was so funny too. Because I had a kid when I was a youth pastor, and he used to tell me his favorite Star Wars movie was Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And I'm like, that is the worst choice you could make. Like, that is terrible. Give me 5 things that happen in that movie that have any bearing at all on the rest of the movie, the rest of the movies. And
the point of it.
Listen.
We could get into it. I will not.
His favorite Back to the Future was the 3rd one in the West, and I was like, I don't trust any of your movie choices at this point, like that at all. But so it takes those 3, crams them down. We watch those. She enjoys those. She also really liked Kenobi, the Disney show. So
that's a good show.
There's a lot out there, and there's some that's not good that I enjoy because of the nostalgia. Like, I have a DVD of the Ewok Adventures, Caravan of Courage, and Battle for Endor.
I don't know if I'll get into those.
Listen, I get it. Like, my kids have watched them, and my kids enjoyed them because I got them at the right age. But they are definitely made for kids and have a very loose tie to Star Wars. Like, very loose, very loose. Not as loose as the Christmas special, but very loose. But no, so I'm glad you brought Mandalorian. We'll get to Space Westerns in a second. Just a couple recommendations for anybody who enjoys Star Wars. They've watched all of it. They don't know where to go next. The actual book about Obi-Wan Kenobi, called Kenobi, is different than the story that they share on the Disney Plus series, and it's an excellent one. Excellent story. I really enjoyed that one.
Is it canon or Legends?
It's Legends. It's Legends.
Okay.
So it's not canon now, but then it was like, this is what happens. And so really good. It goes deep into the Tusken Raiders as well, and those people, and so that was a really good one. And then the Thrawn trilogy, the original Thrawn trilogy was excellent.
Yes, that's what I'm reading right now. I'm reading the Thrawn trilogy.
Yes.
I read the of the 3 trilogies that are in the world. I've read one, and I'm reading that original Heir to the Empire.
Yep, nice.
Right now, that's what I'm doing right now.
So Mandalorian. So I'm enjoying your background again. Red Dead Redemption. We've talked about you enjoying that time period. The idea of cowboys, westerns. And Mandalorian did a really good job of that. But one of the things that I really enjoyed about that series was none of the characters had names to begin with. It was the Mandalorian, it was the child, and I enjoyed those. That twist. In fact, when they started calling them Din Djarin and Grogu, I was like, I hate this. Like, I still don't like it. I still don't like it. Call him the Mandalorian. Call him the child. Like, leave it alone. But I really enjoyed. I don't know what it is about that. Like, as far as Western movies, I like Tombstone. Maybe one other, but it's not typically my thing. But I thought they did a really good job with those, and I thoroughly enjoyed the first 2 seasons and most of the third season. I enjoyed most of the third season. And so
I enjoyed it.
I like the idea of it. I like the idea of it. Funny enough, I mentioned this on, we watched the first episode of season 3. A couple buddies of mine, we talked about it. I really wanted to see in season 3 kind of a Magnificent Seven, the Seven Samurai look, like where you had like it's Mando and like 6 others that were from Book of Boba Fett, like having all these different Mandalorians going, but I like where they went to. I enjoyed it, but I thought it'd be fun to have really I really would love to have seen those things.
There's a lot of ways to go, things to do, characters to incorporate, ways to incorporate.
Yes.
Ooh.
So again, looking at this property, looking at the Westerns, looking at Mandalorian and Star Wars, you're diving in. Where do you really want to see them explore the universe more? Where do you go, man, this is an area that I want more content, this is an area where I want to understand more or clear this up? Like, what is it that you want to see more of?
As in, like, more spin-off type content, like
more spin-off
content, or like a next season of
all the above.
Okay.
Yeah, like you're like, man, I'm enjoying all these things, but if I were to say this is what I want to watch next and it doesn't exist, what is it that you want to watch next?
Well, neither of the things that I would like to see exist right now.
Yeah, which
I don't think will ever exist, and I don't know if it should exist, to be honest.
Now I definitely need to know. Yes, I definitely need to know. So I have this, like, my favorite historical time period in Star Wars is the Clone Wars, anything to do with clones. I'm all into it. I need to know everything about what the clones are doing, what they have done, what they will be doing, what they're thinking, what they're eating, all that kind of stuff about the clones. I need to know what's going on. I would love to have a spin-off series. Doesn't even have to be a full, it could be a limited 8-episode thing. So I'm not asking for much. Okay.
How about an 8-episode thing about something to do with Captain Rex? I don't know if this could be a live action because of, the fact that he's a clone.
Yeah.
He's old. Well, he could. See, this is now more complications come up. So at what point in the story? Would this be an animated thing? Would it be a live action?
Okay.
You can't have. Would it be confusing to people to have a Book of Boba Fett series and have Boba Fett and other areas of Disney Plus content, and then have a guy that looks exactly the same that's also Boba Fett in a completely different series? If you're not familiar with the Clone Wars or anything, it would be an indulgent thing for people like me who watched all the animated stuff, who loved Ahsoka, and who want something more from that.
Yeah. Well, listen, we had a season and a half of Mandalorian without him taking his helmet off. You know what I mean? And it was perfectly compelling. If you had Rex.
That's for him, but he has an excuse, though. He has an excuse.
This is true. Kate, I'm trying to get this thing done, okay? So I'm just saying, if they don't want to confuse people, they could leave the helmet on.
I did have that in my notes. Helmet could stay on, possibly, question mark. But there's gaps in between things of, like, what were you doing?
Yeah.
What were you doing? I'd like to know what you were doing. And also, he's just a really compelling character. He is, to me, and I've said this before, he is like the ultimate Star Wars character, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because there's nothing special about him. He's literally 1 in 2 million. And yet, look at all the things that he's done with his life and his journey and the impact he's had on major characters.
Yeah.
So what if he doesn't have a lightsaber?
Listen, I'm all for it. Like I said, I mentioned my 3 characters. My favorite ones to write were not the Jedi and the Sith. Like, I had those, but everyone had one of those.
The other ones. Everyone has one. That's it. And that's why I found Mandalorians to be so interesting and watching The Mandalorian. And I'd also love to see, how about this? Let me pitch to you this.
Yep.
Another 8-episode limited series, Thrawn.
Okay. Yeah.
Thrawn.
Yeah.
Thrawn.
Have you watched Ahsoka yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a lot of Thrawn. I think he's going to be the Thanos in Star Wars shows moving forward for a little while.
I need more of him. I felt like they kind of did him dirty in that show. And my friend tried to defend him and say, well, he's been out of the game for like 9 years and he like gained some weight, so his pants look like more fit. I don't know. This weird excuse for why. And I thought Thrawn's this master tactician, and I wasn't super impressed by him.
Right.
The witches were impressed by him.
Okay, so
I wasn't.
No, so here's a thought. So I wrote a character when I was on. It was called the Gungan Council, so TGC. I wrote a character.
I love that. I love that.
Listen, who was a Jedi who focused on battle strategy, because in some of the books, when they talk about Palpatine's abilities, it was like he was able to Jedi mind trick entire squadrons to move them, like as if like he was like Ender's Game. I think Ender's Game, that idea of being able to completely control the battlefield. And so it would be interesting if Thrawn's rise to power was really based on Palpatine's ability to stage things the way they were, and if he really wasn't where like he was definitely gifted in such a way. But there was
lucky.
It was still puppet strings.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see. Now, Heir to the Empire, that series, that's that's after Palpatine.
It is Legends. It is Legends.
So. But it would be interesting to see that if that's the case. Also, if he doesn't have the resources, if he only had one ship, only had one cruiser. Well,
Is
he? Who knows? But I think we're going to see a lot more of that. Yeah, I enjoyed Ahsoka just because of the number of female characters that just permeated that series. I'm like, all right, Charlie Ann and I, we can watch this. This sounds... And there's something else that I know this is a tangent. I really enjoyed that Sabine, spoiler alert, Sabine, instead of following her romantic entanglement, says, I'm going to stay with my parent character because I am sick and tired of everyone having to be in a romantic relationship in a TV show. I am sick and tired of all that. And so the fact that I'm not going to chase a man, I'm going to stay with this, and again, not a romantic relationship. With my mentor, my parent. I'm staying here.
Because... Well, it's the Padawan master relationship, and that was the right thing to do.
Yes. I enjoyed that.
It was good.
So I'm in for Thrawn. I'll watch. Listen, if it's Star Wars, I'll watch it. Like Andor has taken me longer to get through just because it requires my complete focus, and so I can't. There's not putting on the background.
Very different vibe.
Yes.
You really have to pay attention, and the pace is so different that you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm dying here. And then all of a sudden things start to happen.
I will definitely get around to it. Don't worry. Mandalorian season 4 coming out next. What's going to happen? Where do we go? What do you want to see in that arena? Again, I think that the fact that Mandalorian did as well as it did is why we have any other Star Wars shows. And I have my thoughts as to why I think it has done as well as it has, and why the last season kind of started to taper off a little bit. Although the episode with Dr. Pershing, the first 15 minutes of the aerial battle, made my wife watch it. Like, this is Star Wars. Like, this is why I love Star Wars. This is peak Star Wars. But where do you want to see this go? Where do you want to see Mandalorian go?
Honestly, I feel like they're going to do a shift away from Din Djarin, which is fine. However, I personally would like to see a focus of Din Djarin standing up for something.
Yep.
Which that seems like the path that he's been on with, the whole I want Grogu back, the whole I'm going to serve you, Lady Kryze, this kind of stuff. It's like he spent so much time in the first season, and however much of his non-existent life prior to that is written about him, not really standing up for anything. All he does is bounty hunt, try to survive. He's piloting a dumpy Clone Wars era ship. Like, he's literally just surviving and looking out for himself. And then this whole Grogu thing was the first kind of switch, I think, for him that made him think there's more out there for me as a human being. There's more to life than what I've been doing. And then I think the second switch was after, I mean, they kind of get off to a rough start. Bo-Katan and all of them, with him, it's like this weird, I don't know, dynamic. But I would be interested to see him like really step up to that cause and say, like, embrace more of the Mandalorian heritage. That's not just so that like militant, odd religious thing of we don't take our helmets off. It's like there's more to life and being a Mandalorian and standing up for your friends and your family than that.
Yeah.
And I think Bo-Katan offers that. I know people get upset if they think that the Mandalorian is Bo-Katan and not Din Djarin. But I think there is room for both.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I was really hoping that going into season 3 that it would become the tension would be between pureblood Mandalorians and the others. That's what I really was hoping, because that kind of seemed to be some of the tension between Bo-Katan and Din Djarin. That he is a foundling, that he was brought into this where she traces her lineage back generations of generations.
Yeah, so like Mandalore proper.
Yes, and so you have that, but they brought the I forget what they're called, the cult that he was a part of. They brought those in, the Watch.
Yeah.
They brought the Watch in.
Children of the Watch.
Yeah, that they brought those in, and so the tension was then there, that between these two factions. So I thought those were interesting. I would love to see him carve his own place out away from both of those. That you have, you have the pure, because I don't want them to stay on Mandalore. They're gonna whoever's left after this whole thing with Moff Gideon, they're going to stay on Mandalore. I don't want him staying there.
Okay.
But I would love to see him forming a family of his own with.
Well, he has his house. He has his house on Navarro. So
he has his house on Navarro. But like I said this a while ago in another episode. Like I want to see him with Cobb Vanth, with Boba Fett, with
his
Grogu, his people.
His kindred spirit.
Yes, and so like I'm looking at your picture in the background with Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Like I want to see those people of him.
With the exception of this one here. That's Micah Bell that I'm pointing at. In case you didn't see it.
So that's what I want to see. I want to see him with his people.
Found family.
That he's carving out his own Mandalorian creed, his own Mandalorian people. What it means to him, what family means to him. Training Grogu as a Mandalorian. I would love to see what this looks like. I would love to have him go back to that swamp planet, find that woman that he loved, and been like, all right, let's do this. Let's go. So
I got a way better hut in Navarro. Come on.
So that's what I want to see. I want to see found family. I want to see him still be able to go on adventures and even be able to take one or two with him. I'm going to take. It's going to be me and Cobb and Grogu, and we're going to go do this.
Found family. Heavy emphasis on personal relationship building, because for so long he did not do that. He did not know how to do that. It was an impossible feat to him.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden that door is kind of open. Okay, I accept your pitch. I too would like to see that.
Well, we'll see what happens. I
too would like to see that. I think that we could possibly both get our way. But then the end of season 3, it kind of felt like, is that it? Is that the end?
No.
Is that the end? Because it could be. They could end it right there and not touch that anymore, do a whole other thing, and then bring that group of characters in on another thing.
So didn't it end on a cliffhanger? Now I'm trying to remember how season 3 ended.
No, it ended with him at his little house in Navarro with his feet up and Grogu catching frogs.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that one. I thought it ended differently.
Well, now let me just Google it. Now I'm nervous, so.
I thought it ended with Moff Gideon like winning.
No.
We'll wait. Listen, I'm not opening
Just
the
wait.
window.
I'm opening it for you.
Yep.
Season 3.
You're good. I'm gonna look at my notes for a second while you look at that.
Yeah, it says it ended on a happy note.
Okay, all right. Maybe I'm gonna go back and watch that one.
Oh. Yeah, it was a happy thing. Happy.
No, they won't end it there. They won't end it there. Disney wants to.
But they could.
They
totally
could, but they won't. They won't.
Just think how much cheaper it would be to not have to hire Pedro Pascal to do something. You know how much that guy probably gets paid just because somebody else is playing the Mandalorian and he is like the character and his body isn't even in the suit?
Listen,
Like,
well, they're not making anything right now. They're not making anything right
no,
now. I guess,
no.
yeah,
Everyone's on
we'll
strike,
see.
so
We'll see.
nobody's doing anything. We'll get nothing. If in 10 years, we'll see season 4.
That's okay. That's all right. I've got plenty of time for me to catch up on the things that I haven't watched yet. I am okay with this strike right now. You fight for your rights, Hollywood. You do it,
Fight
so
for
I
your
can catch
right
up.
to party.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, let's shift gears into this or that.
Right.
Would you rather's? We're putting ourselves into the Star Wars universe, and you've got the questions. We're going to talk about this. So, first one. Listen, my favorite. The thing that really brings me back to Star Wars over and over again, the idea of space flights, boat for the stars. You got a star yacht going off and exploring. What's your choice of starship if you are if you're exploring the galaxy?
Okay, well, I have it. It's done.
Okay.
My ship will be actually the Havoc Marauder from the Bad Batch.
Okay.
It is cool. It is sleek. It has like bunk space, but not too many, so that you don't have to let a bunch of people on because then it would be uncomfortable because there'd be nowhere to sleep.
Yeah.
See what I mean? You like gatekeep how many people can be there and be doing things.
Yeah.
Let's see. Storage has a lot of storage, and it has a bathroom, which, you know, I thought the N1 Naboo Starfighter was cool, but there's no bathroom in there.
Okay, it's true. Maybe it's like a urinal that they like slip on there while they're traveling.
It just seems like.
Listen, I'm with you. If this is what I'm exploring, I need to like.
I need comfort.
Yes.
I don't need over the top comfort. I just need like some comfort.
Yeah.
Like a bathroom, at least one bunk, place to store my rock collection.
Yeah.
Things
Rock
like that.
That's good. That's
So
good.
for a while, I considered the Razor Crest, but the thing is too old. It's too clunky.
Yeah.
The Havoc Marauder can like shred if it needs to.
Yeah.
So.
No, I like it. I like it. My ship is always it's the Millennium Falcon. You know, the modified YT 1300. I couldn't use that though when you're riding with a bunch of Star Wars nerds because they'll call you out on, well, that's what everyone wants, and so I had to pick something else, and so I shifted it back 2 models to the YT 1100, which is very similar.
Okay.
But here's why. So Millennium Falcon, Corellian YT 1300. Crewed by 2. I don't want to go on this trip by myself. I want to have somebody with me. So 2. But can house, I think it's up to like 6 or 7. You know, so you could have a group that's on there, plenty of space, cargo space to be able to store things. It's fast. It's a fast ship. Kessel running 13 parsecs or whatever it was. So I want to go somewhere, but I don't want to go by myself. Like I'm not an introvert. I am an extrovert.
So you could modify it though to have more bunks.
You could.
See, mine, I only want. I think the Bad Batch is normally like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
And then in the show, Omega doesn't even have a bunk. She uses the gunner's mount, the rear gunner's mount, as her room.
Yep.
So see, what I want is for someone to be uncomfortable, so they leave. So that there's.
That works.
I don't want 10 people there.
No. I don't need 10 people, but I do need a posse. Like I need a crew. I need a crew. There's 5 of us. My wife, my 3 kids. You know what I mean? Like
that's a lot of space taken up already. So.
Got a lot of space taken up. That's why we had to move to where we live now because we were living in a smaller house, and I felt like I was stepping on the children every time I went anywhere. So,
what would your kids be doing on the ship though?
Probably making a mess. That's probably what they'd be doing. But I would hope that they would have actual jobs. So modified YT 1300. So what would they be doing? You've got 4 seats in the cockpit. So me and my wife there. You've got top gun, bottom gun. And so they could be doing those things. When they're bored, you've got the holo chest set that's right there in the galley. They can go and do those things. But we're going to go on adventures. We're going to go on adventures and explore stuff. And that's the ship I would take because I don't want a slow ship. I do want a fast ship. So I do like.
Obviously, why would you pick a slow ship? That's why I couldn't do the Razor Crest because at the end of the day, it is a slow ship.
It's rickety.
And it's rickety. Exactly. It's a liability. This is the last thing I'll say about the ship.
You're good.
This was another one that I considered in my like way too in-depth thinking of this, was the Mantis from the Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor games.
Okay, yeah.
That thing shreds too, and there's even less people that can stay on it.
That is a much smaller ship. That is a very claustrophobic feeling ship. That is like the RV equivalent. Yes.
It's an airstream, basically. You can grow plants in there. You can do other stuff in there. There's a save point in there. There's a workbench. So that ship is if you want like a max of 3 people.
Okay. I need more than 3. I need more than 3 though. I want a crew. Which we'll get to that question in a little bit. So that's your choice of starship. You are going to pick your Star Wars character type. Like where are you running? Where are you going with this? I mean, I do want the Force abilities, but there's so many other things that I would also like to be able to participate in.
I would be. This is gonna be so boring. But I already know that like I would not have the Force. I wouldn't be that lucky. I just wouldn't last as the majority of the character types that are in the Star Wars universe. I'm not handy. I get motion sick really easily. I would probably just be one of those normal NPCs kind of in the background who works in Coruscant for like clone rights.
Okay.
Or something. Or maybe I'd have like a bantha farm out in the boonies and I'd invite all my little clone friends to come out and stuff like that. I wish that I was a handy person. Maybe I could, if we're making things up here.
We're talking about Star Wars. Make it all up. Go for it.
I could be a killer mechanic.
There you go.
So I wouldn't need somebody to fix my ship because I could do it myself.
Yeah.
And I would have a whole bunch of like nerdy mechanic friends and I'm really trying to sell this fake narrative that I could be a handy person.
No. Listen, you are very resourceful. You're very resourceful. You live in a world where you don't need to be a mechanic, right? Think about the depth of things that you know how to do, that you study and take in, that brings you enjoyment, the things that you need to get done. If your primary mode of transportation and lodging was needed of repairs, you would spend the time to figure out how to fix those things. I mean, you would do that.
I could also have a Clone Wars era thrift shop, whatever planet you want.
There you go.
Not Camino.
Not Camino. I'm picturing you with farm animals on your ship. Like you're like just toting them around. Like here we go. Got my chickens. Got my.
I could do that. In the Razor Crest, they hauled those things out of it.
They did.
That they took.
The froggies.
I had some questions about that, but I kind of also didn't really want to know the answer to my questions. Like, did they just go to the bathroom all over the floor? Who cleaned it up? Like, that kind of thing.
I'm sure it was a hole in the floor that just out into space. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I'm sure they had a droid that was responsible for cleaning that and purging it.
Yeah.
I mean, the mouse droids, they were only like this big on the Death Star. So, I'm sure he had some kind of droid that would pick that up.
I have this circulating fascination / concern about the bathroom situation in Star Wars and like what's happening. I don't know why that is.
All right.
I guess it's just that's my nightmare.
I'm sending an email to Disney. We need a series on bathroom habits of Star Wars characters. Yes.
I have this Star Wars cross-section ship book. I should look and see if they have the bathrooms.
It's called Poodoo. It's called Poodoo, and it's got pictures of Bulba on the front of it. That's what it is.
I just whatever. It's fine.
No, I like it. I like it. So you're gonna be a mechanic. I like that.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Okay. Which I think is great. I think that
You're gonna be some great thing, right? And
no, I mean, okay, trying to take my personality a little bit.
And you're the owner of the Jedi Temple.
No. I don't want to do that. I want to be. I am a. Not an athletic coach, but a coach. That idea of trying to bring the best out of people. Like I do enjoy those things and making things better. I can see myself being a Jedi that is also is kind of maybe a cross between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Han Solo. That idea that I'm just tooling around the universe, helping people out, doing my thing, maybe even smuggling a little bit here or there. But I can find myself getting in trouble because I keep talking to everybody. Like I'm getting to know people everywhere I go. Everyone knows Here comes Jedi CJ coming in here.
Jedi CJ.
I could see myself enjoying that. Again, going.
Yeah, I would see you walking up to my Clone Wars thrift shop, and I'd turn the sign so it says closed.
yeah, and I would hassle you. I would bang on the door like I saw you do it, and I would use the Force and flip it back around, and then open the door and come on in. Like, yes, you're. Why are you trying to hide? Why are you trying to hide? And because you're going to say, I'm going to get nothing done all afternoon because Jedi CJ is going to be in the shop.
I also have repairs to do on my ship. The bathroom's broken again. Stuff like that.
Yes. No, that'd be good. That'd be really good. All right, so who would you have in your crew? So you got your ship, you got your job, your mechanic. Who are you?
Yep.
And it doesn't have to be a real person. It can just be a type of character, like things that you would want to have as part of your crew.
Yep. Well, I've told you about my fascination with clones. I would literally beg to be in the Bad Batch. I would even offer to be like, I'll help homeschool Omega.
There you go.
I don't know anything about any of that, but if that's the way that I'm going to get on the ship, then that's the way that I'm going to have to do it. For my crew, I'd want a bunch of clones. I'd want all my favorite clone like commanders and captains there, just like a hangout. I guess Omega, I feel like she gets some schooling from those guys, but I feel like it's not sufficient. Like, can you read?
So
like that
funny.
kind
Funny.
of thing.
So in a world where they have hyperspeed transportation, they have holographs, and you're worried about the homeschooling on this ship. Like, you don't think they have mastered education to a level where they could put a headset on and figure it out?
Sometimes kids need hands-on learning. Like, know about students and children.
Yes,
Omega's a child. So far, all they've done is give her a bow, let her do the guns, and drive the ship around some. Tech could teach her the math.
Yes.
Tech could teach her the math. I'll do some of the other things, I guess.
Okay.
If that's if there's no other way for me to be a part of the Bad Batch, then I'll do it.
I like it.
But if I'm in charge, then I'd be like, oh, do you guys want to be part of my crew? No, I'll take you and you. Pick some, kind of like mix it up. Everybody be a clone.
That is so funny.
I feel like it'd be good to have a Mandalorian, like a real Mandalorian on there, though. But I don't.
Okay. Well, you do realize that the clones were cloned from Boba Fett.
Yeah, but they're not
Fett.
they're not practicing Mandalorians.
Fair enough.
So they should also be educated. No, actually, maybe that would be a bad idea to have that. I would love to have Boba Fett on my crew.
That would be
I
fun.
feel like you could learn so much from a person like that and how to do business.
Yes. They did him wrong in Book of Boba Fett. They did him wrong. He was.
I know.
Teeth taken out of him on that one, but it's funny. You want all of them to look alike. I want a wild cornucopia.
No, I don't want all of them to look alike.
You said they're all clones. Like, that is legitimately what that means.
But they all look different. Look at the Bad Batch guys. Those are the defective clones. They do look different.
But they are clones of the same person.
They have different haircuts. They have different tattoos. You could tell them apart.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I love it. I am wanting.
Let's hear yours. Yeah.
Okay, so again, this I was part of the Gungan Council, hundreds of characters, and so I've seen, and everyone wants to be unique, and so there's
Gungan Council.
Yes, they all want to be unique. Listen, it's so good. It's so good. I could talk for hours about the Gungan Council. It consumed my life for like a decade.
Do you have any merch?
No. It was a bunch of poor nerds. We didn't have merch. I'll see if I can find any of my old signatures. That you would like make your own signature that would like tell you about your character. Anyways, but one of my favorite characters was one my brother actually made, and he only played for like 2 weeks. But it was an Ewok with a peg leg, and so it was so good, and he would write it, and everywhere he went there would be like a rope ladder, so he couldn't climb it because he had a peg leg. Had you climb a peg leg, like that was him all the time. So I would probably be surrounded by just characters, cut up characters, misfits.
Yeah, but look at you though. Here's the difference between you and me with this situation and this question. You've spent loads of time coming up with cool characters and writing for them and thinking of them and thinking, ooh, who would I have on my crew?
Listen, yes, but I gave you these questions 6 months ago. 6 months ago, you've had plenty of time. It was not 6 months. I'm picking on you.
Actually, it might have been like 5 months ago. But even then, I'm not part of the Gungan Council.
No.
All I can think of is clones.
Okay, I hear you. Okay, so I would want I would want the Island of Misfit Toys. Like, I would want the ones that nobody wants, you know? Like, I'd want a little Ewok with a peg leg, maybe a Wookiee with a lisp. I don't know. Like, I would want the crazy characters and just which funny enough there isn't. Which book was that in? There was a book where there was a Wookiee that had a speech impediment, and because of the speech, no, listen, and because he had a speech impediment, he was able to speak basic. Like he was like, no, I'm not making this up. Like it is in one of the Star Wars books where like.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna Google it really quick, just because. Not that I don't believe you. I just want to know more information.
I want to remember. I don't remember which book it was. I can't remember which book it was.
A Wookiee with a speech impediment.
Or Ewok or Wookiee that speaks basic. But I would love those. I want a droid. Really like a. You found it?
Yeah, here he is. He had a speech impediment, which made his pronunciation of the Wookiee language easier for basic speakers familiar with the language to understand, a useful trait when dealing with others in his diplomatic work.
There you go.
Oh my God.
I definitely want a droid. I definitely want a droid, an R2-D2.
Oh, why didn't I think of that? I want Chopper, the war criminal.
Yeah, no, I like Chopper. I want a droid. I definitely want a droid. That'd be really cool. I probably would want an astromech like R2-D2 or one of those. That would be cool. They
have many talents.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be good. I want one of those. I would want. Like I said, my dream for Mandalorian is all these misfit characters coming together and working together. That's who I'd want on my ship. Maybe my daughter Charlie, but probably not. We'll see.
Yeah, space is getting a little tight. So
it is. So, yeah, she's watching as I'm saying this. Watching me saying this. Yes, which I did put on here in our notes. I don't remember if you saw this or not. You know, it could be Star Wars characters or real life people that you put a Star Wars spin on, like a Wookiee Bubba was the suggestion.
Yeah, I would never take Bubba anywhere on the ship with me, anywhere at any time, ever. It doesn't matter what like species he is, or even if he's completely mute. I would not take him.
Listen, I just spent an evening with he and Matt in Orlando when they were down here for that conference forever ago, and Matt's sarcasm is stinging. It definitely is stinging. Like somebody cut us in line.
I would rather take Matt than Bubba.
Oh, they were both fun. All right, so I mentioned I love the idea of the child and of the Mandalorian, and so I have this question here: what generic descriptor would you want to go by?
I'd want to go by something like extremely generic.
Okay.
But if used enough and in the right context, then you get like a ooh.
Yeah.
So I would like to go by that girl.
Ooh,
so it's like, did you hear what that girl did on Tatooine?
Nice.
Then it kind of gives it what do you mean? Is she bad? Is she a baddie? Like, what's going on? Like,
good.
Did you hear? Did you see that girl? She's working with the Bad Batch now. Like that kind of thing.
Nice. I like that.
Girl, like that girl. It's like there's no name. There's no identifying other type of feature. It's not even the Mandalorian or the child. Like that girl could be pretty much anyone, until you like join my crew or something, and you're like, oh yeah, that girl's cool.
Yeah. I like that. I do like that. I'm kind of warring between two. Struggling between two.
Let's hear him, and I'll vote.
So I mentioned earlier that my Jedi character was the disciple. Like that was the thing. Yeah. So I do like that idea.
Very holy.
Very holy. But I also like the Joker. I like that, just not like the Joker, like evil Joker, but just like don't take him seriously, like that. You know. So today at school was Croctober. I've never heard of this. Croctober.
Everybody wear Crocs?
You wear Crocs and you bring something in a crock pot, and that was a deal. And so, but I don't have time to make. I didn't have any time to make anything, and so.
Do you have Crocs? Or?
I don't have Crocs. So I didn't wear Crocs. So I had to bring something in a crock pot because I didn't have Crocs, and so I've got 2 bags of chips and stuck them in a crock pot, and then set it on the table.
That's
and
clever.
I was like, I'm just gonna do that. So So just a cut up, just being a cut up, being that would be.
Sure. Can I cast my vote now?
Oh, go for it, yeah.
When I'm in my Clone Wars era thrift shop and I turn the sign to say closed, and then the sign flips open using the Force to say open. The disciple is not doing that. The Joker is doing it.
This is true. This is true.
So
this is true.
I'm
fairly certain.
Like patterns you've mentioned. But.
I'm fairly certain that girl is going to have a different designator for him that we probably can't mention on this episode. We probably can't.
No, that girl would never call him the Joker. Just like
as I'm saying, she has something else.
Never bring Bubba. That girl would never bring Bubba on board. Never.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. Yeah. Yeah, that would be it.
It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, but so fun.
Yes. All right. Those are my this or that's. Anything else you want to add here?
I do. It's completely not related to anything except for that it's a Star Wars mention.
No, yeah.
That I think you'll enjoy. The end of May, beginning of June, end of May, I went out in my backyard area, and there was kind of like a pond, swamp-ish area.
Yeah.
And I got some tadpoles out of there, and I put them in a tank in my office.
Okay.
And a couple weeks go by, soon they're baby toads. Time to give them names. Their names are Miggs Mayfeld and Paz, short for Paz. And they're still alive.
There you go.
They're still here. They
Nice.
Their enclosure kind of looks like a little bit of a dried out version of Dagobah.
Nice.
But it's fine. They're thriving, and Miggs Mayfeld is super fat. So I just thought you should know about my pet situation, and it's related to the Mandalorian and like these nicknames and these names for these things.
Yeah.
So.
No, I love it. I love it. There is a house in my hometown, which is not far from where I live now. Speaking of Dagobah, there are these houses that were just off one of the main roads in that town that look like Yoda's hut. Like they're shaped like Yoda's hut, and there was all this like so much so that and it was like this famous home that I remember when it went up, like somebody was finally selling it, like it went all over Facebook, like the weird house off the 39th is going for sale. Like look, and so like you could see inside it, and it was such a disappointment because inside it looked like a normal home.
It was normal.
It was normal, and I'm like, oh, where's like the weird little green dude and the pot on the fire?
There's crashed X-wings all over.
Yeah, but yeah, that was that would be good. That'd be really good.
That's disappointing though.
So Kate, tell us a little bit about what you do for LTN, and tell us a little about the Free Play podcast, and let's get a few plugs in for that.
Okay, well, I'll tell you about the boring thing first. So what I do for LTN, my job, I mean, I think people think it's boring, but I do a plethora of various activities that range from social media management to administrative stuff to operations for Love Thy Nerd. So it's a bunch of tasks of this needs to get done, so I'll do it. Or it's kind of it falls loosely under the umbrella of admin or administrative or operation stuff, so I will do it. Many things always need to be done over there at Love Thy Nerd, so we're always trying to grind on all cylinders. That girl is like grinding on all cylinders as best as I can to do all of these tasks for LTN, but that's just how we roll. And it sounds vague, but that really is what I do for my job.
Okay. No, that
really
works.
Is what I do for my job at Love Thy Nerd. And for the more exciting thing, I am also one of the co-hosts, as you know all this information.
I do.
You edit the podcast and you hear everything.
I really enjoy having the ability to listen to the in-between segment conversations between you guys.
Oh yeah, like when we've tried to figure out how often we were going to do the show. That was like 2 weeks ago. We were like, what should we do?
Yes, I enjoyed all of it. It's like I feel like I'm part of the staff meeting right now. And I'm like, okay, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do.
You need to know that information as well, and then you heard it there, and then I just now realized maybe I should have told you that like outside of you just hearing that, but whatever. Next time. So I'm one of the co-hosts over at the Free Play podcast on the Love Thy Nerd podcast network, and we basically talk about nonsense and chaos.
Nerd news. There's a nerd news topic.
That's right. The nerdy news stuff, nerd culture, what we're playing, all kinds of stuff. It is a lot of fun. It's basically the three of us kind of constantly just trolling the other two people.
Yeah. And
it's just a lot of fun. It is probably my favorite thing I do for LTN because I get to hang out with Matt and Bubba and just talk about nerdy things and hang out. And it's recorded and you can hear it anywhere that you can get podcasts. And it's also I have now learned this. You
On
can watch
YouTube.
it on YouTube.
There you go. There you go.
You can watch it on YouTube. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. So again, a little peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Several months ago, Radio Matt posted in our
Love
private
that.
area of for free play,
Yeah.
hey, are you all coming back? And I knew who he was actually talking to. I knew who he was actually talking to. It was you. And I'm
It
going,
was me.
Please tell me she's coming back. And so like I'm trying to
I
like
no, I'm coming back.
I'm like going didn't know that was an option that we were allowed to leave. And he's like, you're not allowed to leave. And I'm like, okay, I know what he's talking. Please, Kate,
No.
post something saying you're coming back.
I did come back. I need to pull my life together. It's fine now, and I'm just I'm so happy to be back with Free Play.
Awesome.
And thank you to you for editing the the offering that we give you, which is sometimes we do really good, and then other times it's just hot trash. So,
No.
but no matter what, you always roll with the punches. You make it happen. The episode goes out. You like never complain, and you told me, put together a wish list of snacks that you like.
Yeah.
And I'll buy you some. And I was like, what? No one has ever said they would buy me snacks. So I put together this list, and you bought me snacks, and they arrived on my doorstep. I could
Yeah.
not believe it.
So as you were going through your stuff,
Yeah.
I was going through serious turmoil at my church where I had been on staff for 16 years. Was feeling very isolated in that position. Was feeling very much like no one sees me. Feeling like no one's...
It's too relatable to when I worked at a church. It's too relatable.
And that's just how I feel like no one sees me. No one knows what's going on. I need to make a serious change. And I thought, and then I could see it was not the same thing, but a similar thing that was going on with you. And I'm like, if someone were to say, "Hey, what snack do you want?" I'll give you a list, and that it was something easy I could do just to send, and so I was happy to do it.
Yeah, so you can do that also from when you in your ship land.
Yes.
And there's like a lot of snacks and stuff.
I'm going to turn the sign over. And you're going to look at me, and I'm going to pull up like that Smart popcorn bag, like, hey.
The Smart yeah, you liked the snacks that I picked because there was like Smart popcorn and then a massive thing of cheese balls.
Yeah. I was like, I get it. Add. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you can't just eat junk. You have to pretend like it's healthy. So
I know, but I like that Smart popcorn because it's a white cheddar flavor.
Yeah,
That's why.
I gotcha.
It does. The fact that it's Smart popcorn means nothing to me.
Listen, so our school system has these things called PBIS events. It's Positive Behavior Incentive System events. And so if you don't have any referrals, if you don't have any bad grades, if you can participate in these events.
Oh.
And so they do concessions at them. So my son's at the elementary school. I work at the middle school. And they had their event today, and so they had concessions, and I was running the concessions at the middle school. And so he was asking me, like, what did you guys have? And so I'm telling him, and he's like, oh, that's good. He goes, all we had was junk. We didn't have healthy stuff like you had, like Slim Jims. Slim Jims was the healthy thing he was telling me that we had. And I'm going, yep, health food for us. Slim Jims.
Gosh.
So Smart Pop and Cheese Puffs. There we go. It's good. It's good stuff. Well, Kate, I really appreciate you coming on, spending time, talking Star Wars.
Thank you for having me, because I've been looking forward to talking Star Wars with anyone and everything, and you are very knowledgeable, so that makes you like higher on the list than someone.
Well, that works. We'll have to do it again. I'm fine doing a Star Wars episode every month. Sounds great.
Okay, cool. I'll be there.
Yes. No, I'm in. And so, if somebody wanted to follow you on social media, where's some place they can go to follow you on social media?
You could follow me on Twitter. That's where I do my most nerdy things. At Kate Dangerous.
Kate Dangerous.
Dang, that should have been my generic. Oh no, it's not generic-y enough because it has my name in it.
Well, but wouldn't it be great to have Dan Jarrus is on all these things,
Jarrus.
like Dan Jarrus,
Yep.
and then
Yep. Dan Jarrus. That's dang.
That's okay. Listen.
I'm regretting some things right now, but it's too late. So anyways, you can follow me at Kate Dangerous on Twitter. That's where the nerdy things are. You can follow also at Free Play Podcast. Couldn't remember if there was I think it's just Free Play Podcast on Twitter and Instagram, because I'm putting out some really roast-like content.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
I just plug my own content whenever I can. And
Hey,
Yeah,
speaking of
be
plugging
there.
your own content, here you go.
Be there.
I'm going to hold you to this. I'm going to make you say yes, you'll do it. Free play needs stickers. You need to make some stickers so we can send out some stickers to people that we need the free play logo on stickers. The one with the cutout heads with you, Matt, and Bubba's heads. We need them.
I hate those because Bubba didn't even try. Like, it's so annoying. I told him the other day, you didn't even try. And he goes, yeah. But I've had that thought to get some fun free play stickers to send out to listeners, because the listeners who listen to free play are like in it to win it. So
they are, and you can say when you put a comment on YouTube, there you go, I'm sending it out. Or when you leave us a review on iTunes, sending you a sticker.
Yeah, but it has to be 10 stars.
Yes, 10 stars. I like it.
Maybe I should just ask Radio Matt to do it. I like his stickers.
He just does stickers, though, I think.
Him. I know he does, but he like designs cool stuff and like I don't know.
That he does. Well, very cool.
I could design them. They'll be the ugliest things you've ever seen, which will make them more rare.
They cannot be worse than Warm Beer's paint Photoshop attempts. Like they can't be worse than that. They can't. Maybe
those would be good stickers.
They would be good stickers. I would say maybe we should have Matt design them. Warm Beer can go ahead and design some paint Photoshops of it.
Here's my design, and then I'll be done. This picture I took of you when you were talking with exasperation to your children, I'll just like copy and paste your body out of it and put it as a sticker. You look so defeated in the picture.
Listen, it's been a long day. Today was club day, and so that means half my kids didn't show up with backpacks. Like, how am I supposed to teach when you didn't even show up with a backpack? You know,
use the force.
Oh my gosh! And then I get home and they're fighting. My kids are fighting over how much candy they can or can't have. Oh my gosh! Yeah, that was it.
Yep. So I had to take a screenshot for posterity.
I'll take it. I love it. Well, Kate, I appreciate you coming on, talking Star Wars with me. We'll have to have you on again soon.
Absolutely, anytime.
Thank you guys for hanging out for the show, hanging out to the end of the show, I should say. I hope you enjoyed that talk with Kate Kadowaki of Love Thy Nerd and the Free Play Podcast. Our next show is going to be The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. I'm talking about it with Zeke. It was a great illustrated classic that I read when I was about his age that really gave me a love of reading. Love that book. And so I had him read it this summer, and we talk about it. And yeah, so there may be a little bit of a asynchronous feel to the episode. We recorded a while back, but I want to go ahead and pull that out here. So check that out next week. If you don't want to miss it, make sure you subscribe either to the YouTube channel or to our podcast if you're listening to it over audio. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that episode. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, write us a comment. We would love to read that on the next episode. If you are listening to it via podcast, give us a review on Apple Podcasts and 5 stars. That'll help others to find the show and would greatly appreciate that. If you want to look into our back catalog, stuff that we've talked about in the past, you can go to nextgennerd.com. All our episodes are there, and you can share those to your social media from there if you find one that you really like. There's some really good ones on there, so I would encourage you to check those out. And I think that's it for this show, so until next time.
Peace out, Seacrest.